Okay. All right. Where are we, Jeff?
Matthew. 23.
Matthew 23. So we're getting close.
23:37.
23:37. All right. So celebrate recovery, the Sirach's thinger. What would you call that? Reception. All right. Anything else? All right. I'm going to start sharing. We're going to talk Bible. God forbid. And you said we're where?
23:37.
Silly me. Yay. Okay, there's what, 26 chapters in Matthew? 28? We're not that close, but we'll be finished by the end of the month. So by the time the Sirach's here.
Just in time for Easter. Right.
Oh, is it?
Well, close.
When is Easter this year?
I don't know. He said he was having maybe 3 weeks before Easter. Yes.
All right. All right, well, let us begin. All right. Jennifer or Maury, would you start reading in 37 for me, please?
Bruce, you gonna go?
Just a minute.
Joking here.
Joking. Okay. Oh, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the city that kills the prophets and stones those who are sent to it. How often would I have gathered your children together as a hen gathers her brood under her wings? Ooh.
Thank you.
And you were not willing. See, your house is left to the desolate. For I tell you, you will not see me again until you say, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord.
Okay. That's sobering. Standard. He kills the prophets. So Jesus is making what claim? Not rocket science.
He's going to be killed.
Well, that, and he is a prophet, yes. You know, you just wonder what was going through his mind.
So verse 39, where it says, you will not see me until you say, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Isn't that something traditionally associated with him going into Jerusalem before crucifixion? Is it referencing that timing, or is it something later?
Well, he's already in Jerusalem when he says this, right? And so he's already had that.
I'm thinking of Palm Sunday. Yeah.
So that's a good question. And I don't have an easy answer for that. Things that make you go, And you'd go, well, it's only your job, Donald. Couldn't you have looked it up or something? Yeah. Sorry. Let's move on. Quickly skirting this obvious profile. Jeff Hunt, can you pick up in 24:1, please? Is it big enough for you? I can make it bigger.
Jesus left the temple and was going away when his disciples came to point out to him the buildings of the temple. But he answered them, you see all these, do you not? Truly I say to you, there will not be left here one stone upon another that has not been thrown down.
All right, now that actually gets literally fulfilled. Rome just destroyed all that stuff in 70 AD. And threw the stones down into the valley next to the Temple Mount. The Wailing Wall is actually a wall that holds up just the mount. It's a retaining wall The actual structure was on top, completely gone. And when they did some excavation, they found some of the stones. And these are not little tiny stones. Stones the size of this wall get shoved over. And when it crashes down, it did some damage. But so that one got literally fulfilled. I don't know about that other one. You throw me for a loop there, Maury. That's okay. We'll pass it, Daniel. 24:3.
As he sat on the Mount of Olives.
So he's left down. Now, where it's Mount of Olives? Who remembers? Right by the river. Why not? That's as good as anything else. Come on.
I just remember the pictures you showed us.
Yeah, well, I'm about to do it again.
Directionally,
Yeah, where is it?
it's beside Jerusalem across the valley, right?
Right. So it's just right over there.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, that's, I know, that's exactly what you meant.
River Valley. Yeah.
Well, this, I thought this had a detailed map of Jerusalem. That's actually in the visual. My bad.
You did show us pictures last.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that again because I like that. Where's the map? Oh, TDF. Let's close it. Do visuals. Yeah. So well, I mean, how many times have I shown you that hotel? And so that's where you stand. What did he say?
3.
3 times.
It's a good guess.
Why not? Here's the Mount of Olives. Okay, so if you're standing at the Temple Mount, this is the Al-Aqsa Mosque, and to the left is the Dome of the Rock on this same plane. And that's the Mount of Olives. It's right there. Okay, it's just across the valley. It's not a very far walk, but from here to here was considered a Sabbath stage journey. So anyway, he has left Jerusalem and the city of David and has gone back to the Mount of Olives. So I mean, I don't want you to think he's gone, 20 miles away or anything.
Have we ever talked about population of Jerusalem at that time roughly, do you know?
Well, during the Passover, it would explode in population. Today, it's about the size of Tulsa. And frankly, I don't remember what it was back then. But I think it would blow up to about 150,000 during the Passover season. It would be like 20 or 30 ordinarily. And again, not everybody lives in the city. There's surrounding villages and stuff. So he sat on the Mount of Olives. Who's reading?
I was for about a second.
I'm feeling loved.
It's deep appreciation.
There you go.
As he sat on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately, saying, "Tell us, when will these things be? And what will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age?" And Jesus answered them, "See that no one leads you astray, for many will come in my name, saying, 'I am the Christ,' and they will lead many astray."
Pause just for a second. Where's he sitting when he's telling this? Yeah, this is called the Olivet Discourse. Olivet being adjective of olive. And it's the discussion of the end times and his teaching on it. So if you ever hear that phrase, the Olivet Discourse, that's what this is. Continue.
"And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not alarmed, for this must take place, but the end is not yet."
Now, for people my age, I'm finding it interesting, the younger people kind of freaking out over the war in Ukraine. And I'm going, that's like the third or fourth, fifth war that we've seen, but not them. This is the first one. And what's interesting, we're not even involved. We don't have soldiers over there. But when I grew up, Vietnam, like I told you, Saigon fell my senior year in high school. And so I just grew up with the Vietnam War and then all the wars after that. And war is probably you know what I'm talking about. I mean, the Clint Eastwood movie, Grenada or whatever that island was we attacked, and the others. And so it's interesting how personal history affects the way you see things. The fifth time that they've tried to close down the government, you go, eh. But if it's the first time you've ever seen it, they're like this, they're all wide-eyed. And I understand that. That's part of what studying history is supposed to give you, is a little perspective. But nothing is perspective like actually going through it. As one of my students put it, she's 30, and she posted, "I'm tired of living through world events." Okay, fair enough. So it's also different that nothing happens that's not on TV these days. Vietnam was on TV. When we went to bed at night, when I was eating dinner, there was the number of killed that day. That was just part of the newscast with Thomas Brinkley. Thomas Brinkley? Oh, yeah, but Brinkley, Chet Huntley, and David Brinkley, that's it. The Huntley Brinkley report. We didn't watch Walter Cronkite. We watched Huntley Brinkley. And that's just part of what you grew up with. And then that got more involved. We get more more television exposure the later in time you go. Korea was not like that. My dad fought in World War II and Korea, and they just didn't deal with that. When my friends were in Vietnam and they come back, and it was a very, very different experience with them. And then you're my age or close enough. Yes, I'm pointing to you. Do you remember anything of what I'm talking about? You're in your 50s, aren't you?
Me or him?
Him.
Oh, yeah, he's your age.
I'm under, I'm not 60 yet.
Let's get them all out. Let's just get them shot. Not 60 yet, God forbid. But anyway, so this is interesting time as we go through this. And every time people wonder, is this the end? Is this the end? And what I always try to remind people of is World War II was not the end. And there you actually had Rome, Mussolini, attacking North Africa. Rome was actually back. And Mussolini was thought in those circles to be the Antichrist, not Hitler, because he was from freaking Rome. And it was not it. And Hitler, as bad as he was the Antichrist. 6 million people dead. And he's not the Antichrist. So there's some pause that has to come into play. I'm not seeing too much on eschatological readings of the Ukrainian war. But just to avoid that sort of stuff. All right, there's gonna be wars and rumors of wars. That's not it. Who's reading? Continue.
For nation will rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be famines and earthquakes. And
In
there will,
miraculous boxes out of nowhere.
I should have been reading over here then. In various places. All these are but the beginning of the birth pain.
Right, so crap's gonna happen. And it's not the end. Then we get the end. And we'll let your wife do this, since she volunteered to lead the entire reception for the new pastor.
Yeah, I got told after I did that I shouldn't have done that. So, yes, it'll work. Then they will deliver you to tribulation, put you to death, and you will be hated by all nations for my name's sake.
By all nations. Not just Islam, which of course doesn't exist, but just to give you pause. Keep going.
And then many will fall away and And many false prophets will arise and lead many astray. And because lawlessness will increase, the love of many will grow cold.
And that's usually, it's this that catches people's eye. Because they'll look at society and go, lawlessness is, we can't agree what's right and wrong. Fair enough. That's what usually gives me pause. Verse 13.
But the one who endures to the end will be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom will be proclaimed throughout the world, whole world, as a testimony to all nations, and the end will come.
Then the end will come. So, as bad as things are, the point is to get the gospel preached everywhere. Then the end. And that's the whole focus. Then the end. Not until the gospel preached everywhere, though. All right. Abomination of desolation. So when you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by the prophet Daniel, standing in the holy place, let the reader understand that should not be in red. That's a comment from Matthew. Because I don't think Jesus would have said, let the reader understand. I could be wrong. The abomination of desolation, there's been multiple fulfillments of this thing. The original one was during the Maccabean revolt, when Antiochus IV set up, and he was a Seleucid king of that part of the world in the 180s BC. This is it's actually in 160s BC. And he sets this up in the temple, and it's a statue of some sort in the temple. And that's an abomination of desolation. It's desolating the temple. Then it gets fulfilled by Romans. They do it as well. And it happens. And apparently it's going to happen in the future. There's multiple applications of this, just FYI. But when you see it, the temple standing when Jesus is preaching, then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains.
There's no temple now, right?
Not now, but when Jesus is speaking, there is.
So is there going to be another temple?
Well, that's the whole, you would ask. And that's the whole debate. We're the temple now. So God doesn't need a temple. But do the Jews need a temple? That's a separate question. And do they rebuild one? Who knows? I do not know. I'm not expecting one, but if one gets built, I'm going to be paying attention. I'm going, it's worth watching and see what happens. But who knows? There are certainly Jews that want to rebuild. But most Jews are, nah, we don't need it. But we'll see. I mean, you got a mosque there. For that to get rebuilt, they're going to have to destroy the Dome of the Rock, and presumably Al-Aqsa Mosque as well. And that's not going to be done easily. So that'll be a world conflict. Remember, if you're old enough, when Saddam Hussein was shooting rockets to Jerusalem, people were wondering, is he going to hit the Temple Mount and take care of it for us, as it were, and destroy the mosque? That would have been, anyway. So let them flee. This, by the way, is exactly what happens. When Rome comes, the Christians fled and they left Jerusalem. Verse 17, let the one who is on the housetop not go down to take what's in his house, and let the one who's in the field not turn back to take his clothes. But alas, for the woman who is pregnant, for those who are nursing infants in those days, pray that your flight may not be in winter or on a Sabbath where you're violating the law. For then there will be a great tribulation, such as not been from the beginning of the world until now, no, and never will be. So whatever you think it's going to be, it's going to be worse than the Nazis. Just remember that. That's your new standard. And by the way, the communists killed far more than the Nazis did. 100 million by last count. So, and if those days had not been cut short, no human being would be saved. But for the sake of the elect, those days will be cut short. The elect, he actually uses the word. Like I said, it's all in there. Predestination, free will, and good luck if you can figure it out. make some money, write a book. I'll buy it.
So they're not a carve out for the rules of the Sabbath for fleeing for your life.
Yeah, the people would flee. And I assume some rabbis say, that's cool, you can get out of here. But there would be people that'd be hesitant to flee. A carve out, okay. Then if anyone says to you, look, here's the Christ, or there he is, do not believe it. For false Christs and false prophets will arise and perform, and this is the kicker, great signs and wonders. So powerful, in fact, that'll lead astray, if it were possible, even the elect. So whatever happens, they're going to be doing some stuff, raising the dead, and doing all kinds of things. Huh. Look, I've told you ahead of time. So if they say to you, look, he's in the wilderness, don't go out. If they say, hey, he's in the inner room, don't believe it. For it's a lightning comes to the east and shines as far as the west, so will be the coming of the Son of Man. Wherever the corpse is, there the vultures will gather, which is an odd, of all the little proverbs to use that one. Go figure. So it's not going to be a surprise. I mean, when it happens, everybody's going to know it. So picking up in 29, Nikki Dillenbeck. Do you need your glasses?
I don't have them, but I can see them.
Well, I didn't mean to make you move.
No, I moved now. Can you make it just a little bigger?
I can make it as big as you need it.
I know, oh, that's great. Okay. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be darkened and the moon will not give its light, and the stars will fall from the heaven, and the powers of the heaven will be shaken. Then will appear in the heaven the sign of the Son of Man. And then all the tribes of the earth will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with the power and great glory. And he will send out his angels with a loud trumpet call, and they will gather his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other.
By the way, this is the rapture. And when was it? Immediately after the tribulation. Just things to be careful with your pre-trib guys. You may return. Let's see. Janie, read for me.
It's a
From-
class. So let me stop it here.
What?
That's,
But this is
That was Steve.
who's Steve
Okay.
Shelton?
Oh, okay. From the fig tree, learn its lesson.
Why
as
is he talking?
I don't know why he was talking.
Is Steve on the thing?
He was. He jumped on it.
He's on class.
Okay. Anyway, go ahead, Janie.
From the fig tree, learn its lesson. As soon as its branch becomes tender and puts out its leaves, you know that summer is near. So also, when you see all these things, you know that he is near, at the very gates. Truly, I say to you, this generation will not pass away until all these things take place.
And there's the great conundrum. What in the world is he talking about? This generation. The people he's talking to? The people that see the fig tree, whatever that is? Yeah, welcome to the enigma of eschatology and trying to understand all that. And some read it that, in fact, it all took place back then. And this was all fulfilled. And we're dealing with a spiritual thing. Others know it's the generation's coming. And when they see that fig tree, though it's not a specific fig tree, as you can see. So I don't have an answer for that. If it did, I wouldn't be teaching here. I'd be living in California in my big house. All right, verse 35.
Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away.
So this whole chapter is problematic. Just this, it has stuff that throws people for loops. All right, and you can read interpretations that handle it, but there's that's my response. I'm the emoji.
Is that not a generation thing from the generation that's part of the tribulation? That
Good guess as any. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, just who knows? All right, so let's see, Rick or Lori. Rick or Lori? Did we lose him?
Oh, trying to unmute, sorry.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, 36, please.
But concerning that day and hour, no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, nor the Son, but the Father only. For as were the days of Noah, so will be the coming of the Son of Man. For as in those days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day when Noah entered the ark. And they were unaware until the flood came.
Dadgummit! Sorry. What did I do? Oh,
Until
don't
the
leave me
day
now,
when-
Nick. Okay.
Until the day when Noah entered the ark, and they were unaware until the flood came and swept them all away. So will be the coming of the Son of Man. Then 2 men will be in the field. One will be taken, and one will be left. 2 women will be grinding at the mill. One will be taken, and one left. Therefore, stay awake, for you do not know on what day your Lord is coming. But know this, that if the master of the house had known in what part of the night the thief was coming, he would have stayed awake and would not have let his house be broken into. Therefore, you also must be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an hour you do not expect.
Now, whatever else we take away from all this, the temptation, I think sometimes it's to spiritualize. And that's not my inclination. That Jesus is coming, it's clear. Now, whether the rapture and the coming are to be distinct from Jesus' second coming, I don't think so. When Jesus comes, we'll be raptured up with him to enter into his kingdom. That's what's going to happen. It's not going to be 1,000-year, whatever, that. But he is going to come. And the fact that he has this warning just tells us we don't know when and we don't know how long.
Well, even he doesn't know.
Right. The Father knows. So the angels don't.
We have to get ready.
If we believe in the Trinity, how does the Father know and the Son not?
Well, they are one being with 3 persons. And so they each have realms that are theirs, but yet they're one being. And that's the nature of the Trinity. And that's how you can have personalities, 3 personalities. There's relationship in the Trinity. And you go, but, yeah, but it's something we can't comprehend because we're not in that realm. Okay, we just aren't. But the point of fact is the Son and the Father are different persons, but the same being. Whatever that means. Holy Spirit, throw that in there too. So, and welcome. And it's not, yes, there are illustrations. I'm body, soul, and spirit. Not the same thing. It's illustrative, but it's not the same thing. You know, so Jeff's a husband, a father, and a man, not the same thing. It illustrates, but it's not the same thing. So, yeah, the Son actually does not know. Why? I don't know. Yeah, and you wonder, especially after this, surely, you know, somebody go, by the way, don't ask, but don't ask. Okay. Raises his hand.
So
All
Don,
right.
Hey, Don,
Yes.
my question earlier where it said, blessed is you comes in the name of the Lord. I was looking in netbible.org. They have constable's notes or whatever, like concordant stuff. And it was saying he was referring to the second coming, which might be kind of in line with what you're talking about here. So,
Right, that's the standard interpretation. Otherwise, you have to say it's already been fulfilled. And that makes things problematic. Okay. You're talking, Maury. Why don't you pick up here in 45?
sure. When or who then is the faithful and wise servant whom his master has set over his household to give them their food at the proper time? Blessed is that servant whom his master will find so doing when he comes. Truly I say to you, he will set over him all his possessions.
He will set him over all his possessions. Keep going.
But if that wicked servant says to himself, my master is delayed, and begins to beat his fellow servants and eats and drinks with the drunkards, the master of that servant will come on a day when he does not expect him, and at an hour he does not know, and will cut him in pieces and put him with the hypocrites.
Good grief. He doesn't hesitate with his metaphors, does he? Cut him into pieces. All right. In that place.
Where in that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
So what I've told students in the past, if Jesus calls you to sweep floors and you're founding churches in Africa when he comes, he's not going to be happy because you're not doing what he told you to do. Do what he told you to do. And that's the point here. Be ready and do what he told you to do, because we don't know. We, in fact, do not know. I'm 64. The odds of me seeing it decrease with each passing day. Now, Stephanie will see it. She's so young and vibrant. I left Jeff out on purpose. So. All right. It's 10:12. We're going to stop here at chapter 25. Even I can, no, I'm not going to remember. You're going to write it down, right? So let me stop sharing. Oh, yeah, because he's not going to be here. Yeah, we'll do it again. 25:1. Zoom user, is that Steve?
Might be, I don't know.
So
No,
we're getting-
that's me. It's Poppy.
Oh, okay. Zoom user.
I'm
That
on
should-
my iPhone. It just came up that way.
You should get a t-shirt, Zoom user. So, all right. Do we have anything we need to pray for? Everybody's content?
Teague needs prayer. She's
What?
Teague.
Still needs prayer?
Yeah, she's struggling. Her energy is just not there. It's not that she's sleepy. She doesn't have much energy to partake in the day.
All right. So Teague, the Wilmus child, let's pray for her. Everybody else is okay? All right. What were you mumbling about to each other?
Oh, our children are dying under the strain of their homework right now, so we were discussing the fact that they didn't make it out from their room just to continue. So it's been impressive.
Oppressive or impressive?
Yes.
Okay.
They missed a bunch of school because of snow days, COVID, all that, and they just have said, pour it on.
All right. Well, let's do this. Let's pray. And Jeff Jankowski, would you pray? Let's remember Teague and healing. That's what she needs. And the lifting of the oppression of homework for the Browns children, if you would please. And then the two events we have coming up. All right.
God, we just thank you again for a chance to come and worship together and learn more about you. We thank you for Don, for knowledge and the wisdom that he's able to share to us. God, we lift Teague up to you. Lord, you know our physical needs, you know what needs to be healed. And we just ask that in Jesus' name that would happen.
Yes, Lord.
You would feel better. Before we pass this, we pray for the Brown girls and for all those other students facing midterms and this point in the semester, God, to just give them peace and give them rest. So it's now in the service, good Pastor Mark, and yes, you'll be with Pastor Daniel and Di and the kids as they begin to move this direction. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Spring break's coming. Woo! All right, I'll see you guys next week. Oh, I should stop recording.
Yeah,
You're over street.
he's still good. He's out.
Stop recording.